Welcome to Wheels and Deals Podcast, sponsored by North Georgia Toyota in beautiful Dalton, Georgia, the ultimate pit stop for all things automotive. Join your hosts, Daniel Gross and Benjamin Ward, guiding you through the exhilarating world of car buying, car facts, and car parts, all while throwing in a dash of insight into the life at a dealership. So buckle up, tune in, and let's hit the road to explore the thrilling journey of Wheels and Deals. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new podcast sponsored by North Georgia Toyota, Wheels and Deals. We have been thinking about doing a podcast for quite some time at our dealership, and we thought, you know what, it's time for a change. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm your host, Benjamin Ward, alongside with my friend and co-host, Daniel Gross. How you doing today, Dan?
Man, we're glad to have you guys on the first kickoff episode of the podcast, and super excited to have the guests in studio with us. Studio is our conference room. Oh, yeah. So to give you guys a little bit of background, we've got Greg Epps and Eddie Brooker on the podcast. Glad to have you guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Well, the first kickoff episode, guys, we just give you a little bit of a background to go into, a little bit of intro into Greg and Eddie. You guys have seen them on the commercials if you're local to our area. Maybe you've done business here, parts or service, or maybe bought a vehicle recently. But this podcast really is going to give you just a behind-the-scenes look, industry insights, new product knowledge, anything and everything, really, Ben. So you got anything else before we start?
Let's just get the show on the road, folks. Let's just do this. We're very, very excited for a new format for our dealership and bringing new viewers and possible people just to join the journey of North Georgia Toyota.
Perfect. Well, to kick off the episode, we'll start with Greg. Greg, just kind of give guys and gals a background of how you got in the industry and kind of how you got started with North Georgia Toyota.
Okay. Actually, I kind of grew up in the automotive industry. That my dad worked with Eddie's dad back in the 60s at old Chrysler Plymouth dealership in Dalton. And so when I was in kindergarten, my dad would take me to work with him at 8 o'clock before I had to go to kindergarten at 9 o'clock. So I'd just run around. I'd go back in the parts department, and of course back then, they would juice me up with coffee and get me get coffee and creamer and get me going good before I went to before I had to go to kindergarten. But so like I said, it really goes back to when I was very young. Once I graduated from college, by this time my dad had an International Harvester truck dealership. So I went to work with him after college, and which it and the automotive industry are very closely related, just kind of different clientele, or you're more commercial on the truck side and retail on the car side. But so in 2000 we sold the dealership, and from there I worked a few years in the investment financial services business through Morgan Stanley and Raymond James, a couple of different ones. But I always kind of had in my gut, still, when we sold the truck dealership, I said, I don't ever want anything else to do with the automotive industry. But it gets in you, and you kind of get to wanting to get back in. So in 2010, I was fortunate enough that Eddie let me join the team here at North Georgia Toyota, and I came on board as a salesman. In 2013, became the GM, which is my current role, and just enjoy it. It's nice to be able to go to a job that you don't dread getting up and going to every morning, and I think at North Georgia Toyota, we have a little bit different atmosphere maybe than a lot of businesses, than a lot of car dealerships or other businesses, just in that, we truly are like a family, I think. And I know that's cliche, everybody's, we're all like that. But I think it especially holds true at North Georgia Toyota. And that's definitely the culture that we want for our employees and our customers. So
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I guess you try to leave the automotive industry, but it won't leave you.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Like I said, it gets in you, and it's something you enjoy, and it there's a lot of days that you sometimes wish you wasn't in it, but most of the days are all good days, and it's you're able to help people, get the vehicle of their dreams, and help them service vehicles and this, that, and the other. So it's very fulfilling.
Well, of course.
All right, we'll kick it over to Eddie. You let get the intro and kind of how you got started.
Well, let me tell you something. Listening to Greg over here, Greg and I grew up together. We went to the same church, the same school, and Greg and I have been friends and known each other forever. We went to Georgia together, went to high school together, then went to the University of Georgia, graduated the same quarter. And he went to work for his dad, I went to work for my dad. His dad was in the big truck business. My dad was in the automotive business. At that time, we had Ford and Toyota. And we acquired Toyota in 1975, and I came to work in 1983 as a finance manager. My brother had that position. He left, went to pursue other career goals, and I stayed in F&I for 8 years, from 83 until 1991. And that whole time, Greg and I remained in contact. He was, like I said, in the big truck business, and I was in the car business. And in 91, I became, and it sounds crazy, I became the vice president, the general manager, the rental car manager, the backup F&I manager, the new car manager, and the used car manager.
Wow.
And he cleaned toilets at night.
Yeah. And I did it because my dad said that's how you learn. And I enjoyed the business, but it was kind of overwhelming at that time. In 1993, I took over as general manager and kind of started hiring my own, trying to build my own store. And we progressed. We did okay. I got married in 95 and started having kids. And let's see, we built the first Toyota store in 1980. In 1997, I got married in 95. In 1997, we built the current facility that we're in right now. And it was Toyota Lincoln Mercury at the time, which you won't see Toyota dealing with any other stores like that in the current situation that we got with the manufacturers. They just don't allow it. But at that time, we were Toyota Lincoln Mercury. And in 97, when we built this store, we went standalone, which just Toyota by itself. And that's when we really started trying to concentrate and make Toyota the store that it's become today. And let's see, like Greg said, 2000, if everybody remembers back, 2008, 2009, the Great Recession, or whatever you want to call it. And Greg was in the financial business, and I think it had about enough of that. And I was looking for some help. I had hired some people as used car managers and what have you, but I was still trying to do the dealer thing and the general manager thing and be out on the floor every day, and it was just a lot. And Greg called me and said, "Look, I'm looking to get back into the business."
I said, I'm starving to death in the investment business. I will work for food.
Want to do something different. And at the time, and Greg doesn't even know it, when I hired him on the sales force, my mind had already gone, that would be great if I could bring him in as a partner, as a general manager, and we could figure this thing out and try to make it the store that I think we all knew it could be. And like I said, Greg came in 2010, like he said, and I think in 2012, I called him in my office and said, okay. And Greg was bringing me ideas, to which he was out there on the floor and typical Greg come in and say, I'm not telling you how to do things, but I think this might work. And as far as our pay scales went, what we were doing, paying our personnel and what have you, he had some ideas that made them more to where if they progressed in their departments, if they did more, they got paid more. And a lot of things like that. And I got to thinking, I can't do this on my own. I need other ideas and somebody to blame things on if they go wrong. But in 2013, January 2013, Greg came in as the general manager, and which I was the dealer principal, he was the general manager. And what Greg didn't say is he's also now a partner in the company. He's a co-owner in the company. And we did the renovation of the store, started it, the core store we're currently in 2014. I tore down the Toyota store we built in 1980, and we renovated this facility, and it cost me, I'm not going to tell you what it cost me, but it cost me 3 times more than it did to build it to renovate it. And I think it was June of 2016 when we completed the renovation of this store. 2016 was one of the best years we had ever had. And it was absolute chaos. This place was being torn apart. We had sheetrock hanging in. Customers would actually have white dust in their hair when they got through. I'm serious.
They have seen
getting
God.
Built out with it. And if I had to do over, I would not do that. I would not try to work out of the store as we were renovating it.
If you're an OSHA inspector, you're not hearing this. Right?
Yeah, absolutely not. But that 2016 was, I think, a jump-off year for us. That's the year when we really started thinking, we got something special here at North Georgia Toyota. And if you look at our numbers, our sales, and that's a lot to do with the community. And we've always tried to be community-oriented and be involved in everything that Whitfield, Murray County, anybody in our primary market area, the high schools, the Chamber of Commerce's and everything. We've tried to be on point and available for them. Without the people in this community and surrounding communities, we don't have a business. So I think we took a whole new perspective on that, and things started to grow. We went from doing, when Greg came on board, about 40 Toyotas a month, maybe 50, to doing, now I think we're averaging somewhere around 120 new Toyotas a month. And when we added on, we built the Quick Lube, the Quick Express, we added stalls, we added showroom, delivery area, retail parts center, this beautiful conference room we're sitting in. We did a lot of things to grow the store, and we are at a point now to where we could use some more expansion. And we're blessed that we've got to that point that, growth is good. COVID was a tough time for everybody, but I thank God that I had Greg here and I had the people that we surround ourselves with during that time. A lot of things changed in the last 3 years in the car business. The amount of inventory that we had or we're going to have, the online business, the things that we're doing right now with the podcast, everything from a guy that started work in 1983 is totally different, but it's still the same. It's still about the customer is going to go not where they get the best price, which they are here, but that's not going to be the defining factor in whether they buy a car. It's going to be how they were treated, when they come back for service, that they're taken care of. And these all sound like warm and fuzzy things, but these are things we look at every day. If I take care of my associates and make sure they're in a very comfortable working environment, they're going to take that on to the customer. And I think we have gone above and beyond in trying to make sure that the customer's taken care of, and we're always open to new ideas. And it's been remarkable to watch this store grow, and it's been a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to say I'm the dealer at this store. I don't do a whole lot these days. I sit in my office. They kid me. I take a nap at 2:30, and if my door's locked, don't come in. I'm kidding. I'm available.
We have to wake him up to go home.
Yeah. I'm here after they open, and I'm here before they close. That's my goal every day. But when you surround yourself with the kind of personnel that I have, it makes my job incredibly easy. I'm always here if anybody needs to talk to me, customers, associates, or whatever. Then we have an open door policy, and we just like to thank the community. Thank you guys, Daniel and Benjamin, for doing this podcast. Don't know what else I can add to the story of how we got started, but glad we're here, and I'm glad Greg's my partner. I couldn't have even imagined it going any better way. So we're in good shape.
I don't know how you follow that, but I can just tell you from an employee viewpoint, have been at other dealerships and been in the meetings and been in their, their ecosystem. The word that you hear here at North Georgia Toyota a lot is culture. Yeah. So culture is the biggest thing that we try to cultivate and maintain, and it truly bleeds through into how we treat the customers. And you hear that from customer experiences. You hear that from the families we've sold cars to, not just each individual person, but we sell people's families' vehicles. And Greg and Eddie, they grew up in the community. They're here. They serve the community. It's really special to be a part of. And we've had some record months going into the next talking point, which is they kind of dove into what they do here at the store, but kind of highlighting some of the last couple of years coming out of COVID, their record-breaking months. You guys can kind of share this and bounce back and forth. What have you seen as the GM and the owner, over the last 3 years, the growth, the numbers, diving into the details of that?
It's really been, we talk a lot, COVID hit in February or March 2020, and we're all sitting around scrounging, wondering if we're going to have a job a year from then, so it was really tough. But we made adjustments. Our people brought us through all of this, and it actually, even though times, and like Eddie said, the business has changed, there are months that we would end up the month and not have a single new car on the lot, but we would have a record sales month. Wow. It's crazy. It's beyond belief. The fortunately, our area, the consumer has been very resilient. They keep purchasing. The economy in our area has remained, pretty strong. So it really has made, and it changed our minds and eyes as to really how do we do business. And we kind of took it from the perspective, okay, where does the new paradigm start and how do we move forward in, it's kind of the post-COVID world, and there's a lot of changes that have been made and that are going to be made as a result of that. And it's mostly for the good. I think it's for the good of the for us as dealers, but it's good for the consumer, the customer too. And one thing that we have held strong during all of the COVID and whatnot with inventory shortages, our main focus during all of this is to take care of our local area business. Yeah. We haven't tried to sell cars in California, and because we could jack them up over sticker price. Now, we felt like, and we had the discussions, we owe it to our local people to help them get vehicles during this time. And and I think it's it's going to come back to us that we do have customers that show appreciation that, hey, y'all weren't trying to yank me around and jack me up during all of this. So, and again, that's kind of our family culture. I think that's it. If we've got enough to take care of right here in the surrounding areas, that, we're not trying to be, something to everybody. We're trying to be something special to our people.
Well said. One thing Greg and I talked about when COVID hit, dealers, Toyota dealers, Chrysler dealers, Ford dealers, General Motors, Honda, Hyundai, whoever, especially on hard-to-get models, which all models were hard to get at that time, but they were marking everything up over MSRP. If you're not familiar with what MSRP is, that's the manufacturer's suggested retail price. It's on the sticker, and they were putting these addendums on sticker, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. We sat down and I said, Greg, we're making plenty of money, doing fine if we sell a car for what it's supposed to be sold for. We don't need it. The prices are high enough, and God knows with this inflationary economy we're in, they haven't gotten any better. They've only gone north. But we never sold one car at additional markup. I think there's been a lot of residual business. We've had a lot of people call and say, hey, thanks. I don't think we deserve that. We're doing fine. But a lot of people were taking advantage at that time, and I think that's what Greg was pointing in on during that, and we tried not to. I look at the future of Toyota. You got a lot of things going on right now with the EV, the electric vehicles out there, and everybody's kind of confused. Most people don't know the difference between a hybrid vehicle, a hybrid plug-in vehicle, and an electric vehicle. That's what we drill into our salespeople. We need the customer to be informed and to know what they're buying, and because it's a pretty confusing time. I've been in it for a long time, and the different makes and models out there, it can get the consumer confused. Toyota is leading the way in electrified vehicles. I don't know that we're going to meet all what the government has laid out as far as 2035 going to be 100% EV. I don't think that's happening, but I think Toyota will be at the forefront of supplying people with the cars that are. Look, Toyota's the greenest company I have ever worked with or for. We led the way with the Prius back in 2000 and are still leading the way. If you've ever been to Japan, that's an island. They're green because it means survival, not for political reasons. They're green for survival reasons. And the way that Toyota's decided to go is with the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid. We've got the EVs. We've got the
BZ4X.
BZ4X.
It's on a courtesy line if you were ever taking time to get your car fixed.
It's kind of the electric vehicle we have is a beautiful vehicle. It's kind of a crossover vehicle, which crossover somewhere between a sedan and a big SUV. It's kind of in the middle there. But Toyota has always offered the most diversified line of automobiles out there as opposed to Honda or even Ford now. Ford is just basically a truck store. Honda's basically a car store. We're both. We have 3 or 4 different SUVs, maybe 5 different SUVs. I'd have to count. We still have a couple of 3 sedans, subcompact, midsize, and large. We've got the best-selling midsize truck on the market. We don't have the best-selling big truck. The F-150 is still your best-selling truck. But if you drive an F-150, come out and drive a Tundra right behind it.
Yes.
I was in the Ford business my entire life, and the Tundra is a remarkable truck. I'm driving a hybrid Tundra right now, getting about 20 miles per gallon, which in a big truck, you know, hybrid, I thought you were going to get 80 miles per gallon. That's BS. It's not the way it works. But if you got a big truck that'll pull a full-size camper or a boat or whatever you need to pull, and it's getting 20 miles per gallon, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So we're excited about the future of Toyota, excited about the future of North Georgia Toyota, excited about the future of Dalton. Yeah. Talking about growing, my gosh, this community is just blossoming, and it's a joy to be right in the middle of it and to be the number one. And we're the number one car store in Dalton. That's not brag, that's fact. And it's just a pleasure to be associated with all the folks that come in here and work on a daily basis, and we're a blessed group. Thanks.
Myself and our other marketing manager, JD, we test drove the BZ4X not too long ago, and I gotta tell you, it's a very quiet and smooth ride. Very cool car. So definitely something to keep an open mind if you are getting your car serviced and you just want to just try it out. Just ask one of your salesmen or parts people and say, hey, I would like to have a courtesy ride for the BZ4X. It's worth at least trying out, So,
or you can call and make an appointment. We can set you up through the Business Development Center. We'd like that too. Yeah. But one of the things I just want to add real quick on the success through COVID and those years that were unprecedented for this area and for the country. We didn't know what was going to go on with the market. But the biggest key to success that I saw on our side, on the sales side, was being fully transparent, letting people know up front what we had coming in. Pre-selling vehicles was huge for us, since like Greg mentioned, we didn't have anything on the lot. So stuff was coming in, was getting pre-sold. Us not marking stuff up past MSRP like the dozens of dealerships around us were doing. So treating customers fairly, a truly transparent buying process. It was key to success. Treating people like family. I mean, like they said. So yeah, it was huge for us, and we never skipped a beat. I mean, we had record months when we shouldn't have. So it was really cool to be a part of. But
let's talk about the latest trends and innovations throughout the industry, especially in Toyota, with the changing ways that we market and how the technologies within Toyota. What are you guys' thoughts process on these things?
Well, I think we've kind of touched, talking about the electric vehicles, the hybrid vehicles. In the press you hear a lot of, and from other sources, about electrification and this, that, and the other. But a lot of that, it sounds good. It definitely is the way that, the market is going to move in the future. But today, we lack the infrastructure, we lack technology to, give these vehicles longer range. There's still a lot of things to be worked through before these are going to become mainstream. Now, that's not to say that there's a place for them. And that's what I think Toyota has figured out too, that they haven't gotten out of the sedan business like some dealers, they have, or some manufacturers, but Toyota's philosophy is more, we're going to build what the consumer wants. And some consumers want a sedan. Mm-hmm. Some want a small SUV. Some want a larger SUV. Some want a mid-size pickup. Some want a larger pickup. That they don't just go from, well, here's what we're building, and the customer can buy it or leave it. That's and I think that has served them well, to give them the market leadership that they have. And they're moving toward electrification. They're doing it in some, with hybrid vehicles and the other, not necessarily just the full battery electric vehicle. But you can rest assured that, Toyota is moving, and like Eddie said, they're already very green company, and they're continuing to move. They've got a lot of bad press over the last year or so that, they weren't moving as fast as everybody thought they should. Yeah. Well, now the pendulum has went back to more of the other manufacturers saying, hey, maybe this hybrid deal might be something we need to look at. And that, it's, so it's, no one manufacturer's got the right sauce, but I do feel lucky that we do represent Toyota, which I do think has the consumer's interest, and they look at the big picture of everything in deciding what they're going to manufacture, what they're going to market. We were out at Toyota's headquarters. The North American headquarters for Toyota is in Plano, Texas. So I think a lot of people still, equate the Asian manufacturer, over there in Japan, right? But Toyota's a very American company. They're, like I said, they're out in the heart of Texas and manufacturing plants all over, the United States. And so again, I think it's just a great time to be in the car business, the automotive business. And it's a great time to be with Toyota because I do feel like that they are going to lead the edge, lead the game moving forward. And some of it, as dealers, sometimes we scratch our heads and say, "What are they doing?" Yeah. But they didn't build that big campus out there in Plano, Texas, with not knowing what they're doing in the automotive industry, and it's like I said, the next 10 years probably for me and for everybody, but 10 years from now, me and Eddie probably won't recognize the car business to what it was 10 years, ago. So it's a lot of the technology and whatnot. You're seeing more online presence, more in the industry, digital retailing, people doing more of the process online. The questions is, whether or not maybe dealerships won't be as big in the future because more stuff is transacted online, and dealers won't have 40 acres of cars sitting on the lot.
More cars will be built for demand.
Yeah.
They'll build the ones that are sold or whatever.
But lucky for us, I don't think there is one variable that will ever change, and that's that we're still in a people business. Yeah. We're in the car business, but we're in the people business, and those things never change.
No.
However you transact with them, or how you bring them into the dealership, or you bring them into your mobile spot or whatever, you're still in the people business, and how you treat people and whatnot is still, that's going to be the survival.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the future of the car business. I even looked up there's actually such a thing as car vending machines. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Carvana.
Carvana. I didn't know if we were allowed to say that or not.
We can definitely shout out SmartPath, Toyota's new digital retail tool. You can buy a car from your cell phone and come here and deliver it, and let us deliver it to you. So, yeah, no, it's definitely headed in the right direction. What do you think, Eddie, on the future?
Well, Greg hit on a lot of good points. I want to kind of give the consumer out there a hybrid vehicle, runs on gas and electric, and you don't have to worry about you. I'm driving one right now. It's just like driving the car you've always driven. A plug-in hybrid runs on gas and electric, but you can recharge your battery every night. So I love the commercial that Lexus has out. For short trips, you're electric. For long trips, you've got the option of gas. So you may drive for a month without ever using any gasoline, as long as you keep it charged up. And then if you do have to go on a trip, you don't have to worry about charging stations. Just because if it says hybrid, you do not have to worry about going and sitting for an hour at a charging station and worry about how many minutes you have left on your car. That's the reason that Toyota went more on the hybrid side than the EV side. We just, like Greg said, the infrastructure is just not ready for it. But I want to put one more thing in there that Toyota has on and will be on the market. It's called the Mariah. It's a hydrogen fuel cell car. Now, you're talking about green energy. Anybody that has really studied this thing, hydrogen fuel cells are probably the greenest way to go about mass transportation. When it will come online, or if it will come online, is for smarter minds than me. But Toyota is putting billions of dollars into that because they think that's the way. And pre-COVID, the government's taking this electric thing to a new level, hydrogen fuel cells were talked about, were explored by Ford, General Motors, and everybody. But once the government started throwing all these incentives into EV, they all kind of, follow the money, if you will. So that's what I spoke of earlier. Toyota is going to be the leader. They are the leader. They're the number one automaker in the world. That is documented. Like I said, that's not bragging. That's fact. And they are going to lead the way on how the auto industry goes into the next century. So we're excited about it. Like Greg said, I'm 63 years old. Greg's my age. We're not going to be in it. My son is working here now. You two guys are much younger than Greg and I, but we'll be around long enough to kind of help get them orientated, acclimated into the car business, these new guys that are coming along. But who knows what the car industry is going to bring down the road, down the pipe, but Toyota will be the leader. That I can almost assure you. It's just a great company to be involved with. And you say, well, I'll never buy a foreign car. Toyota employs so many people, has so many factories, and so much taxes from Toyota go into the North America, USA, that it's astronomical. I would say there are more parts on a Toyota are made in America than are on a Ford or a General Motors product. Oh, yeah. And you can document that. So don't believe what you read. Believe what is actual fact. And Toyota is a company that is very comfortable in North America. Will build the product that Americans want to buy, more so probably than the American car makers. So we're excited about being here. I'm glad you guys got us on today. A lot to talk about, and going back and kind of reminiscing about some things that it's been a long time. 1983, that was a long time ago. But
41 years ago.
And things have changed so much, but certain things stay the same. Taking care of the customer, making sure we can get them in and out in service, giving them a good price, letting them know that we appreciate their business, and taking care of them after the sale. Those things will never go away, and that's something that we try to do. And I think Greg and I both would say, and not be afraid to say on this podcast, our offices are available. If you want to come in and chat with us at any time, come on in. And that's what it's all about. We're a family down here, and we'd love to see you. And thanks a lot, guys, for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ben, why don't you go into the closing as far as what you've got coming down the pipe? Introduce yourself as the marketing manager. Exciting new stuff we're diving into, where people can find us on social media. Those types of things. What you got going on in the marketing department?
All right. Well, for the thing I was going to say is that even our town of Dalton is kind of slowly moving forward to the changes of things. I've actually caught some EV charging stations in the city limits of our downtown area. I found a couple by the old depot, but one by the old distillery, and one by the local library. So charge your car, go read a book. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well,
Or
Greg,
go to the distillery.
Or go to the distillery.
Absolutely.
You might want to look at one of those autonomous cars to drive you home after you
One
get the
day. One day.
Well, Greg, Eddie, it was a pleasure having you guys on our show just to kick off the new series of Wheels and Deals. It's been very exciting. I'm very excited, and Danny, I know you're very excited. You're more of a podcast guy. I'm more of a video guy. You're more of a audio guy. So
Got a face for radio.
Well, thank you two for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You want to give us a shout out to the socials? Then go give us a follow.
Yes, sir. We our flagship social media currently right now is Facebook and YouTube. Dan and I not only do this podcast, but we also do Test Drive Tuesdays. It's an old segment that used to be on our YouTube channel about give or take 5 years ago. I kind of became on staff about roughly under a month ago, so I revitalized and rebooted the series, but having Daniel being alongside as well, so we do more than just the podcast. We do Test Drive Tuesdays every Tuesdays, and I believe these podcasts started to be aired Monday mornings as well. So good mythical. No, if I say that, I don't go after me. Someone said good mythical Monday morning. Well. Yeah, it's
Thursday.
Yeah.
Guys, go give us a follow on Instagram, North Georgia Toyota. The YouTube channel is it called North Georgia Toyota as well?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So go give us a subscribe. Test Drive Tuesday. We're bringing you all that. There's so much vehicles coming out. The Land Cruiser, the all new Tacoma, the 4Runner. I mean, it just goes on and on.
The Camry.
The all new hybrid only Camry. That's wild. Talk about that.
Tacoma hybrid's coming out towards the end of the summer.
That's going to be, I mean, it's just some crazy, this is a crazy year to be in the Toyota family and seeing all this new stuff coming through. But guys, go check us out. We're going to do this weekly or month. What's the schedule?
We'll do it weekly or bi-weekly, and kind of give or take as we keep doing this.
As we figure it out.
Yeah, we figure it out. But we're gonna have fun doing it and get to know more parts of the industry of this part of things. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's it for us, guys. Episode number 1 in the bag. We'll catch you on the next one.